and ask. I'm going to try to, as a navigator, I'm going to try to go through the stuff as simply as I can and sort of explain the things as I'm going along. So, yes.
Can I just ask Luke before you get all started? So, from last time, right, we started making the website. Just to recap on that, right? So we sort of built the framework for it, but we didn't actually put it up online, or if you say it like that. So that was where Anders he stopped, or where you and Anders stopped last time. So this is, as I understand it, sort of a continuation from what we did last time.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that in. Yes, it is definitely a continuation from last time. So what we're going to be covering today is called essentially these two, like the last session and this session, are more or less like building the foundation for working or contributing to the website, because each session will need to go back and contribute to the website as a blog post. And so what we're going to be covering today is two things. We're going to be covering branches in Git. It sounds like completely foreign, but that's okay. We're going to go through it. And these things on GitHub called actions. So they're a way of like automatically building something on a independent, like on a completely clean server computing environment to build something. So in this case, we want to, every time we make a change to the website, we want the website to be automatically built, if that makes sense. At the end, you will see like what all of this stuff means. And so it might not make sense right now, but it hopefully will as we go along. So, Cecilia, do you want to share your screen?
Yes.
So in order to watch you have to click on the watch stream. So everybody will have to click on the watch stream.
Yeah. So should I open R?
Right. Does anybody else hear echo? You guys hear echo?
Yeah, I do.
That's. Can you cancel, Cecilia?
Yes.
Can you hear it now? No, okay, so that's very strange. Let me try, I want to see if that will do that for me when I share my screen. Okay. Can you, is there echo?
No. Doesn't say. Try again.
Okay.
Try talking.
Hello?
It's fine.
Yeah, there's no echo.
There's no echo?
Yeah, I don't hear echo this time.
Maybe I clicked something wrong?
No, it might be the, is the speaker is coming from your headphone, right?
I think so. I really don't know.
Do you want to try it again? Sorry, Anders, what were you just going to say?
Isn't it if the sound is coming from the laptop, but the speaker is in the headphone, isn't that?
That's what I was wondering too. Could you, Cecilia, like mute the sound coming from your laptop? I know it's coming from your headphones, but if it's able to.
How do I do that?
Well, let's try this. Share screen again.
Okay.
And share the entire screen, not just the Discord.
Like that.
Yeah. So then now, on your computer, turn the sounds down.
Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Is it echo still?
Yes,
Yeah, for at least, yeah. Can you go to your sounds on your computer?
Here?
You know what? Can you cancel screen share?
Yeah.
And then when you click the screen share, there's going to be a section that says applications and screens.
Yeah.
So click the screens and click in.
Yep.
And then try that, and then try going live. Okay.
Is it better now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's great. We did it.
Okay, good.
Okay. So the very first thing I want you to go is to go to your Firefox or whichever you use.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to go to a thing called GitHub Flow. So Google GitHub Flow.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to go inside that document. So GitHub Flow, and I'll explain this here, but if anybody wants to know what I'm talking about, you can find more information about this on this GitHub Flow. And Cecilia, you can add this link to the blog post when you make it afterwards.
Okay.
So what GitHub Flow is a style of working when you use Git. So we're going to be using Git, and you're going to see like how we use Git through basically every single session. You're going to be using Git. So it's you might not necessarily know exactly what Git is or how to use it. That's okay, because if you keep coming to these sessions, we're going to be using it every single time, and it's something that's like a foundational skill to use. So what we're going to be doing is on Git, there's if you stay back on the, or do you need to fix something?
No. Sorry.
No. Okay. With GitHub Flow, what GitHub Flow is a style of doing collaborating or working on a project. So in Git, there's these things called branches, and a branch is essentially you have a folder that has a bunch of files and other subfolders. Git tracks these files and folders, and when you create a branch, what that essentially does is it creates a copy of those branches, of those folders and files, but in another... It gets a little tricky to explain it, but more or less it's like a copy of it. So you can switch between branches and make modifications between branches without influencing the other branch. So they're completely separate. The really useful thing about this is if you're working with like a team of 200, 300, 1,000 people, you can't all work on the same set of files, because then you would have conflicts between files. Like some people will be editing the same file and at the same time. So what Git branches do is that, if you have a team of 2 or 3 people, each of you can create a branch and make changes to the files in the folder without influencing the other people's files and folders. So then later on, when you're like, okay, my whatever I'm adding, like let's say you're doing an analysis for your PhD or whatever it is, and you have like some collaborators on this particular analysis. So when you are eventually feel good with this analysis and you want to put it back into the main branch so that the others can also see your analysis, you would create what's called a merge. So you would merge the branches from your branch into the main branch. So this style of doing things, and especially within GitHub, revolves around these things called pull requests. So we're going, because the website that we set up last month, only I have control of who can change the content of the website, and the only way that you can request a change is by creating this thing called a pull request, and that's through branches. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a branch of the website, and then Cecilia is going to be making another blog post that will then she'll make a pull request to then have the branch be brought into the main one so that her blog post gets shown on the website. It might not make sense right now, but we're going to go through it and you'll start to see it's not as complicated as it sounds. There's a lot of technical words, but it's a lot simpler than it sounds. So Cecilia, can you then open up a new tab?
Yeah.
And go to use this package website. All one word, use this. So
This
go
one?
there. Yes, that's the one. And then at the top, click on the articles menu item, yeah, and then click the pull request helpers. So use this as an R package that helps. It's an incredibly useful R package that helps with doing stuff with projects. So you have a project and you need to add certain things, or it gives you templates. There's a ton of different functionality within this package, but in particular, it helps you from R be able to do the GitHub workflow, the GitHub flow that I mentioned before. And it's really quite straightforward. This documentation goes through exactly the process that you would take. So if you want to learn more, again, Cecilia, when you make the blog post, include this link to the blog post inside the blog post. And it shows you exactly what you will do. It even goes through a little example of how you'd use use this for making a pull request. So that's what we're going to be using, is predominantly this package to make a pull request. So Cecilia, if you can go to our studio.
Yes.
And so inside our studio, we are going to do what we did last time, and we're going to create a temporary token for you that you're going to delete later. So the thing with working with GitHub, and anybody should be familiar with this, when you log into your Gmail or some other thing and it asks for authentication. So then you open up an app usually and you click yes, it's you. So this is called two-factor authentication, and it's a security feature, and it's really important to be secure when working with things over the internet. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to ask GitHub to create a token for us that we can use that's very strong, but it's temporary. We can always delete it later. So even if it does get stolen, this fake password, or it's called a token, that's okay if it gets stolen, because we can delete it and it doesn't do anything. It won't compromise the security of our GitHub. So in the console, type out use this : create _token, GitHub token. So if you go down to enter, and then click enter. So then here, what we'll do is we'll delete the notes and say temporary token for right now, and change the expiration date to 7 days. So then you don't have to, when anybody else will run this, you don't have to do anything else. You just scroll to the very bottom, keep going, and click generate token. So you can see here that there is this like really long string of characters, GHP underscore blah, 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 blah. This is what your token is, and this is what you'll use to authenticate that between RStudio and GitHub that you are who you say you are. So we're going to copy and paste this, and we're going to keep the thing open so that we can come back and copy and paste it. But afterwards, Cecilia, we can delete this at the end. Okay. So we go back and then go get creds, GIT, yep, creds, that second one. And then get creds underscore set. Get creds underscore set. That's the one, the last one there. There you go. Enter. And you already have one actually set up, so that's good. But what we'll do is just we'll click 2, so select 2, enter, and then paste. Yes, enter. So what this does is it creates a it sets this token as the password that you use to communicate with GitHub and your computer. So we always have to have that set up, and I guess sometimes it does this automatically, depending on your computer configuration. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take the website. And so now you can, in the console, use this, : create from GitHub. Yes, that one. And then quote ROS tools, ROS, 10 tools, so TOOLS / coding -club. And before you press enter, go on the outside of the quote and then do comma. And normally, unless you have access to somebody else's repository, you will have to do this thing called a fork. And in GitHub, a fork is basically a copy of somebody else's project. So we'll have to create a fork because Cecilia doesn't have access to this repository on GitHub. And in order for you to be able to do anything to it, you have to first create your own copy so you can modify it and then later on be able to create a pull request from another a pull request into the website. So then you do fork equals true.
Do I write the whole true or T is just fine?
Yeah, do the whole true. Enter. So then now it's setting it up, and
it gives error.
Yeah, I see that. Git clone, remote error, access denied, or repository not exported. Well, that is very strange. Can you go to your that link there that says github.com/Cecilia/coding club? Yeah, that one. But not the .git at the end, just the... So the other useful thing about doing these things live coding is that you get to see that problems come up. So this is also a way of like debugging like what the problem is. Okay, so if you go back to your, so in this case, I think it was an issue with it cloning down, like downloading onto your computer. So if you see that green button, yeah, click it, and copy and paste that link there. Yes. So now go back to your RStudio. And then what we'll do is we'll go through File at the top. No worries, Stefania. See you. New project. Version control. Git. Paste this URL. And I guess we can just do it in the desktop. And let's see if that works. There we go. I don't know what happened there. Must have just been a... Okay. I don't know what that means, but...
This started to appear when I updated R for some reason.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's something about Python, which is...
Same for me.
It's the same for you, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But it's not doing anything, so it's fine. So then what we're going to start off with is we want to make a pull request to be able to make some changes to the website. So maybe a quick overview. If you go to your the file pane and just see, these are all of the files in the website. So last week we created all of these, sorry, not last week, last month, we created all of these files. And particularly if you go inside the posts, there's the content that Anders wrote for making the website. So if you click in there, there's going to be that index.qmd file. So that is that's the file that contains all of the how to start up making a blog post or making a website, a Quarto website. So if anybody is interested in seeing that, we'll eventually convert this into a website so that you can go to the website and look through the stuff that we've done so far. Okay, so now I want you to go to the console, to the R console. And I want you to create, what we're going to do is we're going to create a setup so that we can automatically build a website. And that's through these things called actions. So we're going to get to actions in just a second. So, but first we're going to do use this ::PR PR, like a pull, like PR underscore init, INIT. That one, quote unquote. So PR init is saying, okay, I want you to start a pull request or set up the infrastructure for doing a pull request. Inside this thing, you're going to create the name of the branch. So we're going to call it add minus.
Sorry? Add?
So add ADD.
Okay.
Minus. Action. ACTION. Yeah. Enter. There we go. And I guess we have... but its parent is not configured. Oh, that was probably the issue. Okay, so what we can do here is we're going to... Normally, when you use create from GitHub, it handles this, but I guess there was an error that prevented it from finishing it. Thankfully, we can do this within R, so we can go type in the console, GERT, GE as in extreme.
Gert.
Yeah. Gert : So Gert is a package for working with Git within RStudio. So we do Git. This is a little advanced, but Git _ remote _ add. So the issue here is that it's saying that the upstream remote is not added. So what we need to do is we have to add a remote, or a remote is basically a pointer towards a website. In this case, the upstream is the ROS Tools Coding Club main one, not Cecilia's. So Cecilia's is called Origin, which is the default name to refer to the original, or not the original, the one that you work with, that you own. And then upstream is the one that your own is a copy of. So in this case, the upstream is the ROS Tools one. So here you do open close bracket. Cecilia.
Sorry. Open what?
Open close bracket. Not square bracket, regular bracket. Yes. And then could you move your cursor away from the, yeah, thanks. Here you'll have to go to the ROS Tools website. Click there, and then actually here, before you go anywhere, it shows at the very top, right where it says Cecilia Coding Club, at the very top.
Yeah.
Right underneath, you can see where it originally comes from. So if you click that, I think you can actually even right click and copy and paste the URL at the top, very top.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Between
between quotes, paste. Now here you will have to add a .git at the end, and then do outside, and then comma, space, quote, upstream. Yes, enter. So hopefully that should work. So then now do up again, so that we can do the PR in it. Yes. Hopefully that works. Yes, there we go. So that works. So what we've just done is we've now created another branch, and I'm going to show you what that is. So if you do Gert again, so GERT : Git _ branch _ list. That one, enter. You can see that there are several branches here. The main important ones are the ones without the origin or the upstream before them. So there's two of them. There's one called main, which is what we originally had, and there's now a new one called action. So that's the first one there, the first row. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to set up infrastructure to create a website. And if you go to Firefox and create a new tab and type out GitHub Actions.
GitHub's what, sorry?
GitHub Actions. Yes, enter. So this thing here, going into that, and you can use this, paste this, the URL in the blog post later on. So what actions do is they essentially take a set of code. So if anybody's familiar with what reproducibility is, I do a lot of teaching on it. Reproducibility is where if you give somebody your data and you give someone the code, they should be able to get the same results. It's actually quite more challenging than that. One of the ways to really ensure that something is reproducible is by taking a completely clean environment, such as like a server space that is completely empty of anything else, and you install everything that you need for your analysis, and then you, inside of that environment, you run all of the code from beginning to end, and you should then get the results that you're claiming in your paper. And that's what reproducibility, like that would be the pinnacle of reproducibility, is to be able to do something like that. We're not even close to being there, but like we're like small steps to this. So what a GitHub action is it's this completely clean environment that's located on a server that can run code from beginning to end. So because the website is generated from a thing called Quarto, which is you can use that with R, and it's built into our studio. We're not going to cover that at all today. We want to also automatically, every time we make a change to the website, automatically builds the website in this clean environment. And so that's what these GitHub actions are. So let's go back to, Google. And thankfully, there are a lot of like built-in actions that you can just copy and paste from. Like all of my websites I've created, you can copy and paste from these templates. So in Google, search Quarto. So Q-U-A, space, dev, D-E-V, space, actions, enter. And then go to that first one. And then scroll down to the thing where it says, I think, examples. No, sorry, it's the one where, oh yeah, examples, that's the one.
I click?
Yes. And specifically, we want the one that ends in .yaml. So if you click the file where it's the .yaml, yes, one. Now, this is a template that we want to copy and paste, but you don't need to copy and paste this directly. What you do is you click the raw button where it says blame and raw. Yeah, click raw. Then you take the URL at the top, copy this, then go to RStudio, and inside of RStudio, use this, use _ GitHub _ action, open close, and inside there do quote build minus website. So this is the name that we will give to the new file that's going to be created. So on the other side, comma, quote, paste. Paste the URL. Yeah.
Sorry.
My mistake. Sorry. My mistake. Then click enter. What? Sorry, that was, so go back up, click up. And then right before the URL, type in URL equals. Sorry, that was my mistake. Right before the quote, right before the quote. Yeah, URL equals enter. That was my mistake. That needs to be, there we go. So now, if we open up, if you go to your file pan.
Here.
Yeah, and go back to Coding Club, yes. There's now this new folder called .github. Click that, oops, workflows, and there's actually several of them.
Yeah, so I actually created one because I thought I was supposed to do that. So maybe just delete the bottom one, because I think that's mine.
Okay, so that's the one below. So you can delete this other one.
This one?
Yeah. Anders is being jumping ahead and yes. Okay, so then now go inside that one and go to the bottom. So all of this stuff is essentially steps to take that this action will take to build something. The thing that we want is we can delete lines 22 all the way down to lines 38. 30, yeah, that one. And then uncomment out. So if you highlight these lines and Control-Shift-C. Yes, okay. And the other thing to change is in line 18, where it says tiny text, change that to false. Yes. So what this will do is now it'll generate the website and it'll push it onto GitHub and make the website on GitHub. So save. And then go to your Git pan. So now that we've created, that's all we basically need to do in order to make use of actions. So go to the Git pan and highlight the, not that one, the Git, anything inside the GitHub folder.
Peace.
That one, yes, that one, and also that one. And then click commit. And so this is the GitHub, this is the Git interface within RStudio. So this is how we add things to the history that we will then use to push up to GitHub. So then type in here, you write in add an GitHub action to build website. Click commit, then close, then go back to the console. So that's basically all we want for this particular branch. So now what we do is we do use this : PR_push. Yes, that. Enter. And you want to push up to 1. And then before you continue, yes, actually that's correct, yes. So then you click create pull request and you create pull request. And so now, if you all notice that at the top there, it says at the very top, it says it's the Ross Tools Coding Club, not Cecilia's Coding Club. So now, when I look at the Ross Tools Coding Club, I can see that Cecilia wants to make changes to this repository. And so I can click, because I own the repository, I can then click accept. And what that will do is that'll pull it into the into this repository. And then it can start generating websites through that. So then this pull request is now done. So now what we want to do is we want to go back to, or it's not done yet, but Cecilia is waiting for me to look at it. So in the meantime, what she can do is go back to RStudio. So now you say, okay, I'm done with this. Now I want to work on other stuff. So what you do is you do use this : PR_pause, open close bracket, enter. So what that does is it switches over so you were originally on this branch called add action. but now you're switching over to a thing called the branch called main. And you'll also notice that it's saying that this file has been deleted or moved, and that's because in this branch, this file doesn't exist. So for those like maybe wondering how this might apply in like your own real world, or like your like how do we do this, is like how would we ever use this in practice and research. This is the workflow that at least I use with Daniel for a project that we have with the UK Biobank, if anybody is familiar with the UK Biobank. And that's where we can be collaborating together on code to be able to run inside of the UK Biobank servers to be able to do analyses. So what I'll do is I'll like make a branch with this workflow, make modifications to some code, submit the pull request to Daniel's repository because I'm doing like a code review or like I'm making some changes. And so then he can then say, oh, okay, this is good. I'm going to accept that, so that when he's doing his analysis on the UK Biobank, it can like speed things up, or there's like a an additional analysis or whatever it is. So this type of workflow isn't just for something like this. It's also for basically anything. Anytime you work with other people this is a really good workflow to use. So Cecilia will then click yes. Do you want to close this file? Yes. What we're going to do is we're going to add a Quarto post just so that you get started. So we're going to do this, and we're going to create a new branch called post branches. So do use this, PR underscore init.
Underscore what, sorry?
Init, INIT, so initialize, yes. Open close bracket, quote. And then we're going to say post minus branches. Enter. So then what we're going to do is you're going to go to file, and then new file, and then Quarto document, and create the title called let's say making branches and adding actions. And then you can put your author as yourself. Yes. And create. And then this is going to set up, and what we're going to do is going to save this file to a new location. So control file save. Save as, and then click posts and create a new folder here and call it branches minus end actions. Branches minus end, yeah, branches actions, that works. Open. And then inside here, the file name should always be index. So index.qmd. And then save. So then now, if you do go to your Git pan, you'll see that there has been a file that has been added. And what we can maybe do is, if you go to Anna's other file that he created in the posts. Coding Club, posts, branch, and then inside there, that one. And scroll to the very top. And what we'll do is we'll copy and paste those things. And go to yours, and you'll actually have to. Actually, that's fine. Yeah, just remove the editor part. You can keep the title and the author. Paste, and then delete Anders's title and author. You can keep the description though. There you go. There you go. And inside the categories, let's add some other additional categories, actions, and create another one, branches. And then in the description file, the description field, we'll just delete that. And you can modify it afterwards. So save. And then go to your Git pan. And then create, add it, commit it. And say like start draft of post. Commit. And then go back to your console and do use this ::PR PR pay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Underscore. You're doing great. You're doing great. Push.
Mm-hmm.
And open close bracket. Enter. And guess you can do 1, like last time. And then create pull request. So then now when you come back to writing your post, you can go back to this branch and write inside of the branch. And as you keep on pushing up to GitHub, it'll automatically be updated to this pull request. So I won't touch this pull request until you're finished editing the blog post. So that will be the file that you'll add stuff in. So basically, that's like all there is to making actions and doing pull requests. The only other thing that you might finish with is, you don't have to do this right now, but just type it in the console. It would be use this ::PR _ finish.
Finish.
Yes, finish. So you don't need to press that enter on that one. But what that will do is that once you've finished with a pull request, it's been merged in with the other stuff, then you can delete this one. So PR finish will delete the branch. And if you want to continue working on a branch, you can do PR resume. So all of this is described in the Use This website, which I definitely recommend you read through. And that's it for this, at least this session. So hopefully with these 2 sessions, this session and the previous one, any other future sessions that we do, we're going to be making use of what we've done with these other 2 sessions. So every blog post will be added through this process, essentially. Does anybody have any questions?
Sorry, where could we access the blog post?
I will add the link to the blog post in the welcome and rules section of this the Discord. Yeah, if Cecilia, you can show where that is. The welcome and rules. I'll put that here.
Okay.
So that it's right there. Yeah. Any other questions? And you can stop sharing if you want, Cecilia.
Yes.
Yeah. So if anybody doesn't have any questions.
No, I was just going to say, so now we basically have the setup, so if new people come in, they can just read the 2 blogs and
Exactly.
more or less be good to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can just say what you want to say and maybe finish up on what you think the next topic should be for.
That's exactly what I was
Or
gonna
anyone have ideas? Okay, so that's.
Yeah. Does anybody have ideas on what they would like to learn for next time? So now that we've established sort of like the base of like how we're going to be doing stuff, now we can start doing stuff that other people might be interested in learning about. We can also keep it open and then decide closer to the date. I can also think of some ideas closer to the date. But if anybody has anything specific that they're interested in, it can be very simple. Like, how do you open up RStudio? Or like, how do you import data or something? It can be anything.
I was also thinking something along those lines, like, how do you make a table one, or like make this flowchart, for instance. Something that would sort of all use. But maybe we can just I guess in this we can write different ideas, and someone can say, okay, I'll pick this and show how we do that.
Yeah, you can always add inside of like the text channels if you have any ideas about like the general text channel, you can add ideas. We have a month, so the next time we can meet will be usually, I think it's said every first of the month.
So it's the 3rd of April.
Yeah, the 3rd of April that might work.
In R, is that the installation of that? Is that covered in the first session, or is that
installing Git?
Or is that already part of the base R? Because I just don't see it in mine.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I might actually just add a little like information on like how to just do some basic setup stuff. So I'll add that to the website, and then that will be available there. So add basic setup. Yeah, maybe we could put it up on like YouTube unlisted, and maybe have the link on the website. Unless everybody's fine with Cecilia, make sure to go to your GitHub and delete that token. You don't want to keep that around. Yeah, okay, so if anybody has any ideas, add them here. Otherwise, like a week before, I will probably set something in the I'll probably set something beforehand, just so that there's something that we could do.
I have another question. So last time you built a website, or
yes,
and where could I find that?
The website?
Yes.
Yeah, the website. I'll add the website to the welcome and rules. I'll add a link to the website in the welcome and rules. And I'll maybe just do a ping of everybody or something when that happens. So I'll probably do that within like the next 2 hours. So you can check back later today. Cool. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you in a month. And please add any ideas or things that you want to learn about. I know you're mostly all starting and learning, so there's a lot to learn. But that's another point of these things, is to have a very informal way of hey, here's this idea. That's something that I'd like to learn. Excellent. Yes.
Thank you.
I'll see you next week. Yep. See you.
See you.
Bye.